Caek and Minko, and this is our podcast where we talk about our releases, give behind the scenes, and we answer your questions. Today's podcast is brought to you by
Grandmas watching our kids since about 30 minutes ago,
which you may hear in the background sometimes during this episode.
And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the song Scream, which was just released on the 4th of October and features Michaela singing solo.
We're going to do it a little differently today. We're going to start with questions instead of doing them at the end. First question is from Sam.
Sam.
Shout out to Sam.
So Sam's question was, how did you guys get your name? Good question.
You want to answer it?
It's simple and kind of silly. I have a stutter, and Cake's full first name is Michaela. And one day I was saying her name and I stuttered. I was like, Cake, Cake. And I was just like, Cake. And it's just stuck.
Yeah.
So I called you Cake after that. And my name in Bulgarian is Minko. Michael is in Bulgarian is Minko. And I'm obviously Bulgarian.
I didn't just choose it because it's cool. So the next questions are actually about Scream. So this is why I chose to do these questions first.
Okay, cool.
These are from your mom. Shout out to Patty.
Shout out to Patty in the house. And listen, we have mad questions, okay? It's not, we're not answering these because we only have questions from
I can't even
my
keep
mom.
track.
We have Dr. Dre is asking. But
totally.
my mom is special to me. So we're like, hang on, Dr. Dre. We got to answer my mom's question.
Mom's comes first.
Yeah.
Mom's comes first.
So don't get it twisted out there. We're really famous.
Don't get it twisted. First, she says, Michaela sounds absolutely amazing on the new song Scream. That's not a question, but I just had to tell you. That's what she said.
Question answered.
Question answered.
With the question itself.
Okay. How did you collaborate on this one? What?
Question statement. It's a quatement. I just made that up. Sorry.
I don't like it. One of her questions is, how did you collaborate on this one? Who did what? Okay.
That's a good quatement.
That's okay. So on every song, everything we do is 50-50. Sometimes it starts with one of the other person's ideas. It could be either of us. This one happened to start with my idea. It was the little pattern in the beginning of the song on a cello. So it started on cello.
I don't even remember that.
So yeah, I wrote it on a cello, not playing on the computer. And I don't know what happened from there. I think we worked on the production together, and we usually go back and forth on production. So composing, basically. Right. Do you have a thing?
Then you wrote lyrics.
I wrote lyrics. So, but did the chorus come first?
Yeah.
Bum, bum. And that was a together thing. You were like, I hear this, and then I played what you heard for the chorus, for the ding, ding. I think I might have had the chords, and then you had that rhythm.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
I remember that because I just remember it. Anyway, I remember so many things.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh, I have a good memory. And then, I wrote lyrics to it. And I think I might have been mad at you.
You were definitely mad at me.
Okay.
Let's go back in time. Michaela wrote the lyrics to this initially because she was mad at me.
Yeah.
These are the first draft lyrics.
Yeah.
Because she was mad at me, which is daily occurrence.
Pretty much.
So that was the point at which she was mad at me on that day.
You know, another part of that helped write those lyrics, that I didn't tell you before. I was home alone and your mom was outside, and sometimes it's hard to really vocalize loudly when people are around.
Right.
And your mom was outside, and I would have had to scream, and I was thinking I just want to scream and not have anybody be around me.
Right.
So that was actually part of it, but anyway.
Yeah, it's funny because songs are not usually one thing. You come up with an idea. I don't know if this is the same for you or in that moment, But a lot of times when I'm writing the lyrics to a song, I'll start with one thing and then things just come to me. Like I'd maybe say, it's a song about being angry, right?
Yeah.
And it's generally just being about angry. It was like, okay, well, I'm angry about this, and this is where the song starts. But then I'm angry about this and this and this and this. And then, it's like,
Yeah.
and it kind of
It's like a
compounds.
flow.
Yeah.
Totally.
So maybe that's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't remember my lyrics. So it was I want to scream.
I want to scream at the top of my lungs. No one's around to hear me make a sound.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I want to scream at the top of my lungs. Yeah. That was
Yep.
it. Wow.
Yeah.
Way to make
it sound way cooler than I did. Oh, for everyone listening, this is how it sounds better.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And then basically what Mike does with lyrics is he takes them and makes them way better.
I do with lyrics what Michaela just did with her voice to me.
No, seriously. So I just like, Mike, just take this and make it better. And then he just totally rehauled it. And then
overhauled it.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Rehaul. I like that.
I don't know.
Hey, one less syllable. I'm with it. The English language is troubled. Let's rehaul this.
This is why you write lyrics and I don't.
Yeah. That's the name of our next song, by the way. Rehaul. It's a country anthem. Rehaul.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you wrote the verses.
I did. And
I think I
was building off your idea about like screaming, and I'm just like, okay, why would I want to scream?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through so much at that time. There was a lot happening politically, wars that were happening actively. I don't know if they were just beginning at that time, but it was ugly. A lot of people dying, which is always something to makes you kind of have.
Yeah. Or just like a divided. There's like
division, a lot of division. I also had problems with like some friends that had made me want to scream.
Yeah.
And also a big one for me was climate change. I often look at what's happening in the world in terms of climate change, and it's frustrating that people aren't more on top of it. Policy isn't more on top of it. It's crazy to me. I think, Don't Look Up kind of nailed it. It's like, here's the issue. It's like, and it's like, you have to jump through all these hoops to get anything done. It's just like, like what? This is our planet.
And it's all the same issue. It's just like greedy people at the top and corruption.
Yeah. Also
honestly.
just health issues and not sleeping,
Sure.
just feeling frustrated about that.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
and on another like larger scale, just like marginalized communities not being, factored into policies or, basic human rights.
But now that's how I initially penned the song, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And again, still like as it started to write, you start thinking about all the people who might feel just the same. And I think the overall theme for me was powerlessness, feeling powerless, and being frustrated. And that is my means of catharsis is music. So when I feel something, how I process that is through music.
Right.
And you kind of lit the match with the idea of scream, and I channeled it through that kind of, but how did you sing it? When you were singing it, what was going on with you?
I mean, similar things. I think the theme of feeling powerlessness, and trying to overcome that, like when we get angry, we tend to get louder, right? And like maybe if I scream, there's no chance of being ignored, so anybody out there that, really has something to say and needs to be heard, has to scream for anybody to even pay attention. and being frustrated with lack of change. There is change, like things are changing, and hopefully for the better in this next election. But frustrated with the lack of change and seeing groups of people not like seem to care about um, the
Other groups of
welfare of
people.
humans in general.
Yeah.
As a woman, I relate to it, so I think it can be really powerful for women, but really any community that is not
Would you say marginalized? Is that the
marginal,
word?
yeah, is marginalized communities for sure.
Also, I think another idea that I had, I like that smack I just did. It was like really.
That was
I'm
you,
gonna like find that in the audio and use that as like
and
a
use it.
snare in one of our songs.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
So I think the one thing too I was thinking about, which we probably already said in more ways than one, but is the carrying on of tradition for tradition's sake.
Yeah,
And with many things
right.
in human life, and how tiring that is.
Mm-hmm.
It's carrying on all these dead traditions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the part in the bridge where it's like you're falling down, just stop
Yeah,
pretending.
yeah.
It's like if you look around, all of these traditions are like crumbling,
Mm-hmm.
and people have a really difficult time, myself included, with change and growth,
Mm-hmm.
which, is part of change. So the idea that they're grasping onto these traditions, it's just like, chill. Like,
Yeah,
change is happening. Like, we need to let go now. This is
right,
time.
right.
And just stop pretending like this works.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop pretending that this
Right.
works. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
What we're doing with the climate, with the planet, doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Things need to change. What we're doing with marginalized communities and things like that, like, it's not working. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's never worked. Let it go.
Right.
It's time to change now. And I think one thing quickly that I notice as a parent, which sometimes you need to do and sometimes you don't,
Mm-hmm.
and I learning that balance. But when a kid is doing something dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could be like, hey, stop, hey, stop, hey, stop. But there's a point at which the danger becomes too great and you have to yell. You
Sure.
have to get loud to kind of shock them out of that process and say,
Yeah, if he's
hey,
running into the road.
right.
Yeah.
You might need to scream and say,
100%.
like, to kind of shock
To
them to
make
get their
something
attention.
happen.
Because I'm sure that the patterns in their brain are very loud as they're just going about life,
100%.
So yeah, that's another kind of idea for me behind the idea of scream. It's
Yeah.
like there's an urgency. It's not like, hey, let's talk at the top of our lungs. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's time to scream.
Hey, let's have like
Yeah.
a conversation.
There's no more time. There's no more. I mean, like, there's time. Who am I to say how much time we have for any one thing? But
But I say that there isn't any time to try to gain power over people and control their choices. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, we don't have
100%.
time for that shit anymore.
For
It's
anyone
like,
listening, I certainly didn't mean anything in that way. Like,
No,
we
no,
don't
no, no,
have
no.
time for
No. I wasn't saying that because of
cruelty
that.
in humanity or like broken things like that. But like, as far as climate change, I don't know how much time we do have.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, but I would like to say I think that the science probably says at this point there's a sense of urgency that's worthy of a scream.
We need to start treating people better and
Yeah.
factoring everyone in.
Of course.
And creating better policies for everyone.
Yeah.
And people's rights and choices in life.
So,
And,
I mean,
yeah.
For me, that kind of encompasses most of the things I was feeling about this song.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Yeah, sure.
What is your favorite thing about this song?
Oh. I mean, I love how powerful the chorus is when it comes in. I love all the harmonies. I love the feeling that I get when I listen to it or sing it. Yeah.
You know what I think? So, of all the songs we have, you're just kind of, in my eyes, really a powerhouse singer. I feel like you really stand your ground in that place. But I feel like this is one of the songs that you really seem to be anchored. You really seem to like have dug your heels in. And when I hear it, when the song opens up, your song is kind of in a lower register, and it feels like it kind of gives me goosebumps. You know, I'm like,
Ooh,
ooh,
cool. Goose pimples.
ooh. Why do people? That's the worst. They're goosebumps. Goosebumps. When you say goose pimples, what is that? Like is that an English thing?
I have no idea.
It's terrible.
I never say it. I just want to
Terrible.
say it now.
Terrible.
It's really great that you say that because recording the song sucked. First of all, okay, this is the thing.
Well, I gotta give it to you, kid. You did all right.
This is the thing that happens when Mike writes a verse, when the chorus is already like written in the register that it is. So the chorus was there, na, 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 right? And then he goes way down here.
I did?
Yeah. The distance between the verse and the chorus is like so big. So I had to change I had to figure out how I wanted to sing it. And I really wanted it to be screaming. So it really had to be, but I didn't want it to be like crazy.
Right.
And
so
I
you were
didn't,
like striking the balance.
and I couldn't sing it lower where I was like more belting, like more of a chesty belt.
So am I getting this right? You had to change the entire song so that the lowest lows in the verse were in a good register that weren't too low. But at the same time, the chorus, which was high, wasn't too high out of your range that you couldn't sing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Sorry.
Are you Jordan? So even
I'm
now,
just gonna say, for me, it felt okay.
I know.
All
right. Yeah. So that was difficult to figure out. I changed the key like a million times to figure out what worked for my voice the best, and then just recording it. It was like a challenging song to sing, and even the way that the verse like flows, it's like pretty challenging for me anyway. And so that was tricky, but I figured it out. I had to change some of the melody a little bit because I like to kind of embellish and like grow the melody. So I did that. And
an interesting thing to know, I think, building on some parts of what you're saying, is that when we create a song, a lot of times professional musicians in the industry will take a chorus and like, so they sing one chorus, say the first chorus, and there's 3 choruses that happen in the song, and they will cut it, paste it in the second chorus, paste it again in the third chorus. Yeah. And every song that we've done is not that. Except so every chorus is unique and has been sung again. Yeah. It's not just copy paste. Right. I think that's maybe something people won't notice, but it's really cool.
I'm also talking about the verse, like building up to the chorus and like changing it up a little bit so that it's like either like going higher and higher a little bit or a little more embellishment.
How many days did it take you to record this? Do you remember?
God, I have no fucking idea. Or how many takes? Like 100 plus of each part. Yeah. And then comping.
And that's like no exaggeration. Like if you go into our sessions, it'll be like hundreds of takes. It is quite the process.
And do that for every chorus because every chorus is different.
Yeah. I think that it's funny too because people are like, oh my God, you guys are so good sometimes. And first of all, I never know how to respond to that.
That's my best.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever. Like I didn't sleep last night and my hair's falling out. But I think sometimes people think it's like magic, you know, like, oh, they just like go to the microphone and it's magic. Yeah. And it's like,
I just woke up like this.
Well, that's true. We are kind of magical. We are unicorns, but it's a lot of work. Truly.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And it's a dedication to the craft of recording. Recording is an art. It truly is. Like
it's hard,
Michael Jackson was a master of recording.
Yeah.
Proximity to the mic, all different things like that. Anywho,
totally.
It's a lot of work. And as much as I'd like to be like, no, we're just awesome, we kind of just have to work really hard to make great songs, as songs that we feel are great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We kind of answered mama's second question, but she says, the words are really amazing.
Thanks, Mom.
For every person who has ever felt invisible or unheard.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. She said a lot more compliments about the words than how good I sound. I think I needed more quatements about my voice. But she said,
thanks, Mom, for the quatements. I love you.
What was your inspiration and what led you here? So I think we just answered that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a lot of words.
In a lot of words.
Yeah.
So that's that.
You know what, though? One thing I will say is that, like, among all of the things I was feeling,
Yeah.
because I can feel those things and I can go out in the woods and just yell them, right?
Yeah.
Why did we record it into a song? And I think I'd like to voice that as I was writing the lyrics, I was like, if I'm feeling this, I want to air that out in a way that makes other people feel part of it, you know? And I think you recognize that as you start writing it and you're like, oh man, like, like this could carry other people's voices.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the hope.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite lyric in there?
The wolves one.
Yeah.
What is it? In a world full of wolves.
In a world full of wolves with an appetite so they
How can I live?
How can I live?
I think it's, yeah. So I don't even know my own lyrics, but I don't, I kind of let go after the song comes out. How can I live in a world full of wolves with an appetite so they never feel full?
Yeah.
And to me, that was like, I mean, that's so many things, but as I was penning it, I was definitely feeling like the people in charge of policies that really hurt climate. Like, and just out of greed, these wolves, like, how can I live in a world full of wolves with an appetite so they never feel full? These greedy people just like,
don't
when
care
does it
about
end?
anything else but
at what
power and
point
money.
do you feel satiated with your, endeavors in life? How much do you need?
Yeah.
And it's a perspective problem, really, because, I think if people really spent the time to gain true perspective via like immersion and experiential perspective, like they would be like, oh, well, actually I have a lot. I have way more than, and I can actually give some, or change my ways. Anyway, I could write a book about that. Oh my gosh, I could write a book about that. It would be crazy. It'd be like a bestseller. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. We should talk a little bit about the imagery from the video that we did for this.
Oh, right.
The Scream video.
Yeah. So we went out to LA and we did all of the videos that you're seeing, the one for Big Feelings and just this recent one for Scream, everyone. We shot all 12 videos in LA. We just went a month ago.
In August.
Yeah, August.
2 months ago.
It was awesome. We got to work with Nick Ritchie, who is a brilliant director and
an amazing person.
Writer. Yeah, I mean, he's just the coolest guy ever. He did the films 1-800-Hot Night and the other one, Lolo. Yeah. You should really check out Nick's films. They're incredible. 1-800-Hot Night really seriously, legitimately falls into one of my top films.
It's so good.
It just has that kind of like Stand By Me kind of like
nostalgia,
but like a new
coming of age.
Yeah, I mean, but a Nick Ritchie version.
Yeah.
Like his telling
Very
his
cool.
story, with that.
Very cool.
Yeah. The end scene in that. Woo!
Okay.
I won't spoiler it, but boy, Nick, you crushed that.
But anyway, it was amazing to work with him. He was on top of everything. We were on a budget and he was like doing a million jobs. Anyway,
and our DP, Nate.
He was great. Nate Presley.
Yeah. Just magic. Between lighting and camera, like you'd just be in the room and it would feel like fluorescent bulbs are on and you're like, well, this looks kind of corny. And then all of a sudden, like fluorescence off, like professional lights on, camera, and just like,
so Nate
beautiful.
Presley, he was great. And then the other makeup artists we work with, Brianne Ross and Mackie.
Yeah.
Mackie did the prosthetic for my mouth.
Right.
So if you haven't seen the video,
yeah.
Spoiler, I don't have a mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, the video starts with me doing dishes. I'm in like a 1950s kind of dress. So it's kind of traditional kind of thing. And then I see something in the corner of my eye and I'm like, shit, I got to handle this. And I walk over really like slow and creepy. And there he is, dead on the floor.
Me.
In a pool of blood.
Minko.
I killed him.
Yeah. And also the prosthetic
And I don't have a mouth. So
That's not AI. That's not camera
it's not,
tricks. That is actual
it is
makeup.
actual prosthetic. I will post a time-lapse video of that soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, which was, first of all, very quick. It was so relaxing. I really liked doing that prosthetic.
It was so relaxing for me to see your
Shut
mouth
your
be covered
face.
up.
Isn't that interesting? A woman being silenced.
Oh, no, it has nothing to do with being a woman. Let me assure you. It's very...
Because you can't stand that my voice is so beautiful and you get just...
That's it.
You're so jealous.
It's heart-wrenching. Oh...
Anyway, yeah,
Michaela talks and I cry.
I couldn't talk for like 2 hours. So yeah, I mean the imagery is showing that I don't have a mouth, so I have been silenced. I'm not being heard, and I killed Mike because he made it that way, and well, I'll kill it. It's kind of like killing the patriarchy for women, you know.
Part of that, yeah, for sure.
You know, and it's not. Let me just be clear. We don't want to take over as a matriarchy. Women are wonderful and loving and great, but there should be balance, and the patriarchy is terrible for lots of people.
Yeah.
So that was the idea behind the video, which was also Nick Ritchie's wonderful creative idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And me dead on the floor was my like final touch to that. He was like, "Oh, well, me dead on the floor." It was like just like a psyched little kid.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. And we weren't allowed to use real blood. And I don't know if we should we take away the magic? The blood is not real.
Oh yeah, obviously.
But it was like,
we weren't allowed to use
solid...
fake blood, so we had to smash Mike's head. So I'm still recovering. Thank you.
We couldn't use fake blood.
Yeah.
But the actual, it was like a solid piece of. It was so cool.
It was like
anyway,
like silicone
movie
almost.
magic.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I think the idea of me being dead on the floor is just like old, outdated ideas.
Yeah.
Just dying, like,
right.
And yeah. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nate.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Love you guys.
You're amazing. Oh, and Mackie was the one that did the prosthetic on my mouth.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And Brienne?
Brienne, she did makeup for everything. She was amazing.
And she was cool. Everyone was so cool. LA was so cool.
Let's be friends.
Let's move to LA and just be friends with all those people.
We're moving to LA. And on that note, thank you for listening.
On that note, it's going to take us a while to make our next podcast.
Go listen to Scream. It's on all streaming platforms. Follow us if you're not following us already at Caek and Minko, CAEK, and Minko, MINKO. We have a website, cakeandminko.com,
where you can buy merch if you'd like.
Please buy a t-shirt.
T-shirts.
They're really cool and comfy.
I want to take a minute also to just say we sourced these t-shirts for like the best we could afford for sustainability.
Yeah.
And comfort and fit and everything. And we did a screen print. We tried a bunch of different ways of printing on the t-shirts, and some of them just fell off after like a wash or two. And we decided we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make something quality that would last. And the only way we would release a t-shirt is if it stood the test. If you could wash it after your kid gets avocado all over it and smears his face on you, and you can wash it 20, 40, 50 times. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
But it'll stand the test of time. And it does. It's a beautiful shirt.
And also, the more t-shirts we get, the closer we are to getting a new design, which we're really excited about.
Yeah.
We're really excited about. If you've seen any of the cover art, especially the Big Feelings one is a little more colorful.
Let me say this. Thymangelic.
Yeah.
I believe it's Thymangelic.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I were to say it like phonetically, how it looks, it'd be Thijman.
Yeah.
Gelic.
THIJ. Anyway, whatever.
Wicked brilliant.
He's amazing.
Wicked. Oh my God. This guy is wicked brilliant.
Oh my God.
He's from the Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah. And he is an artist. He's done the artwork for all of our cover art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was awesome.
Along with Ian.
So he's actually going to design a t-shirt for us, as after we make a few sales with our original logo. Anything else we need? Oh, if you want to submit any questions, you can email questions@cakeandminko.com.
Questions@cakeandminko.com.
That's it.
Cool. And everyone out there, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for all of your support, for taking the time to listen, for taking the time to tell us what you liked about the songs, and just taking time out of your day to show some appreciation for what we've created. It's a long task in creating these songs, so that is like really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.